Welcome to Commencement 2020. I'm Priscilla Schulte, Director of the University of Alaska's Southeast Ketchikan campus. It's quite different this year, and different from any year I can remember in the many, many years that I've been attending these graduation exercises. This semester has been drastically changed, as well as our lives, cultural expectations, and social interactions. So it is with joy and honor that we present the recognition of the achievements of this year's graduates. In this presentation, you will see the names and pictures of those whose achievements we celebrate. I will miss seeing the faces of those in our island community who normally would be attending this event that we usually hold at the Ted Ferry Civic Center. I miss the proud parents and spouses, children and grandchildren, uncles, aunties, coworkers, supervisors, and friends who would turn out to see their graduate. To those who will be turning their tassels today, we are proud of you. Our faculty and staff are pleased that we've had an opportunity to work with each of you and wish you the best as you continue life's journey. I would also like to take this opportunity to recognize the faculty and staff of the University of Alaska's Southeast Ketchikan campus. This dedicated group of professionals has guided and assisted in the journey of those who will receive their degrees today. I offer my sincerest thanks to them for their personal contributions to our students' success. I also have the opportunity to recognize our Professor of Science, Dr. Matthew Paulus, who just last week won the UAS Faculty Excellence for Teaching Award. Dr. Paulus is an extremely popular teacher. One of his recent students writes, he is incredibly knowledgeable on each subject that he teaches, and he values thought-provoking questions and creativity within the classroom. Dr. Paulus's energy and creativity fit our campus well, and we honor his achievement today. University of Alaska President Johnson is not able to travel this year to attend campus commencement ceremonies. However, he has sent the following message to this year's graduates.
Greetings, University of Alaska Southeast leaders, faculty, staff, students, alumni, and family members. As you see, I'm not able to be with you. I'm here in my study up in Fairbanks, but I wish I were, because I would be able to celebrate with you the tremendous accomplishments that you've made over the last number of years as students at UAS. And in any year, your accomplishments are worthy of tremendous recognition and celebration. But in this year, that's especially the case. You know, when you walk across the stage at UAS, that commemorates that you've completed something really important in your life. It also stands for learning that you have experienced in biology or chemistry or history or English. But in 2020, it's a special set of lessons because you'll also know a lot about disruption. You'll know a lot about communication and resilience and grit and persistence and about adaptability. Because those lessons are every bit as important in your life as what you've learned about chemistry or biology or marine science. So congratulations. It'll be a mark on your record forever that you were the class of 2020, and I think it's a mark of distinction. I'd also like to congratulate Chancellor Rick Caulfield. Rick is retiring from his role there at the University of Southeast, where he has served as provost and as chancellor for a number of years. He's been a great leader. I've known Rick for a long time. I met him when he was at UA Fairbanks and at the technical college there as well. So we've worked together a lot, especially over the last 5 years. And we've, I think, struck a strong partnership. I've relied a lot on Rick and his wisdom, his advice. And I think he's done a tremendous job of leading the University of Alaska Southeast and also contributing to the leadership team of the entire University of Alaska system. So while you all leave UAS with a diploma, a sign of your accomplishment, Rick Caulfield retires as Chancellor from the University of Alaska Southeast with a signal distinction, and that is as Chancellor Emeritus. That's an important distinction. It's something that was recommended by the faculty and other leaders at the University of Alaska Southeast, and I'm really glad they did, because if they didn't, I was going to do it anyway. But it's always great when we're on the same page. And we're on the same page with respect to Rick Caulfield and his terrific leadership. We all wish Rick well, whether he's out on the ski trails or picking berries or sailing that beautiful sailboat with Annie and celebrating his life, his kids, and his grandkids. He's done a great job, and I congratulate you, Rick, and thank you, and wish you Godspeed. Thank you and congratulations, University of Alaska Southeast.
Dr. Richard Caulfield has served as Chancellor of the University of Alaska Southeast since June of 2015 and is retiring at the end of June this year. He will surely be missed. Chancellor Caulfield has long been committed to the mission of the university in support of student learning and educational equity. He strongly believes that UAS makes a difference in student lives and improves the quality of life in our culturally rich communities. Here are a few words from Chancellor Caulfield.
Hi, this is UAS Chancellor Rick Caulfield, and as UAS Chancellor, I want to use this opportunity to share my congratulations with all those at our Ketchikan campus who are graduating in 2020. As you know, I'm having to do this virtually because of the challenges created by the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm sorry that I cannot express my congratulations to you in person, which is one of the most enjoyable things I get to do in my job as Chancellor. But that fact doesn't diminish my sincere congratulations to each and every one of you. As you well know, so many of our students are not traditional students, meaning they're not between the ages of 18 and 24 and living on a college campus. In fact, many, if not most of our students are working as well as going to school and often have family obligations along with that. In my mind, that makes your accomplishments even more special because you've had to juggle so many different factors in your life to achieve this goal. And I know too that many students have benefited from the support of family and friends, as well as from our faculty and staff. All of them are rightly proud of you, and I'm very grateful for all at the Ketchikan campus who've worked hard to help you be successful. So, even though I'm not able to recognize your achievements in person, I want you to take the time to savor this moment and be proud of your impressive achievements. Well done, and best of luck in your future endeavors.
In a small town, it is easy to be known by everyone, but it takes a special person to make a significant impact in the lives of many, and Elizabeth Nelson is one of those extraordinary people. As the driving force behind First City Players, she's helped numerous youth and adults face their fears and uncertainties, and as a result, discover their hidden potential and best qualities. She's best at developing talents they take to the stage and to their lives. For some, the experience is an exciting opportunity to expand their horizons and challenge themselves. Having experienced her own obstacles early in life, Elizabeth has an ability to connect with those for whom her teachings can be life-changing. Through the transformative power of theater and through Elizabeth's mentoring and genuine faith in them, they learn to take control of their own lives. The Executive Artistic Director for First City Players is responsible for all aspects of the theater's operation, from quality of productions, directing shows, teaching classes, and ensuring financial security. Under her leadership, the theater has grown in programs and quality and provides opportunities for anyone in Ketchikan to become involved. Elizabeth's impact on the community goes further than the theater. She was adjunct faculty at UAS Ketchikan, teaching theater history and literature regularly throughout the 1990s, as well as other acting classes. Since then, the main stage First City Players shows she directs are often used as subjects of study and reflection for drama students on our local campus. Elizabeth has been honored as a Women in Safe Homes Woman of Distinction for her work with women and children in Ketchikan, and is the recipient of the Delta Kappa Gamma Red Apple Award for her creative energies and outstanding efforts on behalf of the children of Ketchikan. She has housed Rotary Youth Exchange students and worked with Boys and Girls Club, Youth Court, Pioneer Home, Ketchikan Theater Ballet, and the school district, along with many other organizations. Elizabeth is uplifting, dedicated, and generous with her time. Her honest concern for the future of our youth and her focus on community and family help make this community a better place to live. I'm pleased to share these words of Elizabeth Nelson's with our graduates.
Dr. Schulte, honored faculty, and most importantly, members of the UAS graduating class of 2020. Even in this awkward commencement format, mandated by the current viral pandemic, it is a great honor to be invited to speak to you on what is, and always will be, an occasion for great celebration. What you have accomplished by arriving at this point today is no small thing. It is one of the greatest, and you are to be greatly commended for your accomplishment. It isn't that the classes were difficult, although many undoubtedly were. It isn't just that you persevered, though you obviously did. It isn't only how you kept life and limb and home and family together throughout your studies. No. What you have just done is scarcer than you might think, and it took great courage. You have done something that many of us can spend a whole lifetime of our life procrastinating and avoiding. You have said yes to your dreams. And if you don't think that's a big deal, stop for a minute and think of the people you know that are still talking about what they might do someday or should do someday. Think of the older ones talking about what they might have done had things been a little different. Think of the older ones who have stopped talking about that at all. There are a million species of greatnesses in this life, from great actors, great teachers, great saints, great baseball players, great moms, great dads. And the one thing they all have in common is they're taking responsibility for and embracing their dreams. You have completed a giant step in embracing yours, and we congratulate you on this special day. My business is that of making theater, as a producer, a director, an educator, as an organizer of volunteers, as a guardian of the dreams of others, and as a performer myself. Most of my work begins with a script. Most plays begin with a script, literally. A script is a plan. Sometimes a plan can be very exact, of who is going to say what, and in what order they're going to say it. Sometimes the script gives you exact gestures, sound cues, light cues, even tells you what the set should look like. But what I can tell you from my professional experience is to never mistake success in theater or in life as the successful following of a script. In theater, believe me, a play goes off script all the time. But even if it doesn't, it isn't the script that makes the play successful. Rather, it is the intense, the active listening between actors. It is the actors believing in every moment they are in. When an actor forgets his lines, or says the wrong lines, or even says the lines from the different play, or when the wrong music plays at the wrong moment, or the lighting cue is incorrect, well, reality's changed, and it is the actor's job to be as alive in that moment when the play veers off the script as they are in any other moment on stage. You cannot succeed in any moment by saying no to an emerging reality. When a play veers off script, you need to listen more carefully, more actively than you have ever done before. And you need to say yes to the opportunity you find in it. You embarked in your schooling by following a script or a plan. Maybe you were following the threads of a vague plan. Maybe it was a very detailed plan. Maybe you had a script that included this graduation moment. You have successfully followed through on your part of the script, but everyone here will know exactly what I mean when I say that right now, at this moment in history, the world has gone off script. No matter what happens, success will look different now than you thought it would look when you began. So, what do we do when our play has gone off script? We improvise. Now, you might not know this, but in theater anyway, improvisation is not an exercise in randomness or chaos. Improvisation has a very few, but very strict rules, and without them, the improvisation would fall apart. The first rule of improvisation is to always say yes. Never deny what your partners have created. So if we're improvising and I say, "Freeze, I have a gun," and you say, "That's not a gun, it's your finger, you're pointing your finger at me," our improvised scene has ground to a halt. But if I say, "Freeze, I have a gun," and you say, "Well, that's a hell of a way to thank me for the gun I gave you for Christmas," Well, then we started a scene because we've agreed that my finger is a gun and you gave it to me for Christmas. Now, obviously, in real life, you're not always going to agree with everything everyone says. But the rule of agreement reminds you to respect what your partner has created and to at least start from an open-minded place. Start with a yes and see where that takes you. I always find it jarring when I meet somebody in real life and their first answer is no. Oh, no, we can't do that. Oh, no, that's not in the budget. Oh, no, we've never done it that way. What kind of life is that? The second rule of improvisation is not only to say yes, but to say yes and. You are supposed to agree and then add something of your own. If I start a scene with, I can't believe it's so hot in here, and you say, yeah? Well, we're kind of at a standstill. But if I say, I can't believe it's so hot in here, and you say, well, what did you expect? We're in hell. Or if I say, I can't believe it's so hot in here, and you say, well, yes, this can't be good for those wax figures. Or if I say, I can't believe it's so hot in here, and you say, well, I told you we shouldn't crawl into the dog's mouth. Well, then we have somewhere to go. And to me, yes and means don't be afraid to contribute. It's your responsibility to contribute. Always make sure you're adding something to the discussion. Your initiations are worthwhile. So, how does this improvisation theory apply to you in this upside-down world we now live in? Well, I think it is a universal truth. What your script was when you started this educational journey may not be the same now. What you thought you'd be doing after graduation may not be available now. But because you have the strength to find an end, because you know how to say yes, you will find a way to make your dream come true. You may have to say yes 1,000 times before the yes creates the dream come true. But you have already done the work to make that possible. Many of you know what is coming next. You have your job, your career lined up, and you're ready to go. Some of you thought you were set and knew what the ending would be, but then the world changed in a heartbeat, and you're learning the lesson of refocusing your dreams. Just say yes to the possibilities. A time of crisis has no fewer opportunities than a time of stability. They're just a little harder to recognize. Keep your sights on what can happen, and you will continue to succeed. We can only succeed being who we are and where we are. You are the one who said yes. Yes to something big. And now you're part of this UAS graduating class of 2020, and that says some pretty big things about you. It says you have courage. It says you have learned how not to procrastinate your life. Yes. It says you've learned how to hop through hoops because that is part of it. It says you know how to learn. It says you've learned how to stop and invest in yourself. It says you know how to take responsibility for your dreams. And it says you know how to use that magic word, yes. Wherever you are headed, you've made a good start. Congratulations to each and every one of you. Good luck, and God bless.
With pleasure, we present the degree candidates. The registrar has certified that they have fulfilled all academic requirements for their respective degrees. The faculty of the University of Alaska Southeast has recommended that these candidates receive their degrees.
Hello, I'm Sherry Beretta, Regent and Chair of the Board of Regents for the University of Alaska. I want to just say that these are extraordinary circumstances that I deliver this message to you, but I have so much joy in my heart for all of you to have achieved your goals of graduation and your degrees. So with that, graduates, by virtue of the authority vested in me as a member of the University of Alaska Board of Regents, I hereby confer the degrees to which you are entitled, with all the rights, privileges, honors, and responsibilities pertaining hereto. Congratulations.
Hello everyone, and welcome and congratulations on graduating from University of Alaska Southeast. I'm John Rauwolf, and I'm a professor of history here on the Ketchikan campus, and many of you have taken my courses, and unfortunately, due to the circumstances with the virus, obviously we can't be there in person, so I want to issue my congratulations to you virtually through this video. And they asked me to talk about graduation a little bit and the history of graduation. And of course, normally in graduation you'd be wearing robes like this or a hood like this if you're a master's student. And talk a little bit about why you would wear these. Now, a lot of the traditions that we have at universities, a lot of the terminology we use comes from the Middle Ages, which is when universities first started. Universities like Bologna and Paris and Oxford that really began in the 11 and 1200s, and the dress that we wear at graduation reflects that. Now, back then, you'd never see your professor wearing a jeans and a t-shirt, if you see them on Zoom wearing their pajamas, but they would wear robes like this. And these were robes from the clergy. Most professors and most students were members of the clergy. They were priests or deacons sometimes, and so the robes they would wear reflected that. But also the university rooms were unheated, and so you needed a nice thick robe to keep warm during those long lecture periods. And back then, if you were an important person or you had a particular calling in life, a particular profession, you wore the robes of that all the time. And so these weren't something you would just wear at graduation. You'd wear these robes every single day. Now, these robes also, you'll notice, some of them have these long sleeves like this. This type of sleeve was very popular. This was a fashion statement back in the 1200s to have a long sleeve like this. Sometimes it'd be a different fabric or a different color. And so that sleeve would sort of show your fashionability. But by wearing a robe like this, you're telling people that you are graduated and you have the right to teach certain subjects. You could be a tutor. So only someone who's graduated could wear a robe like this. In fact, they had laws that would prevent you from wearing a robe like this if you didn't have the qualifications, and you could be very severely punished if you wore these robes without the proper certification. Now, this is a master's hood, and the different levels back then, most people, if you were very well educated, you would be a master. That means you had mastered your subject, and you had the right to teach that subject at the university. Just a shorter degree, you could do tutoring off campus, but you couldn't teach on campus. But to be a full faculty member at a university, you at least had to be a master. And one of the ways you showed that is to wear a hood like this. And these came to symbolize the mastery of your subject. And there would be different fabrics. If you were a more important person, you might get to wear fur in your robe. But these robes, and these are actual hoods, and back then hoods were detachable. And so you want to detach them in order to wash them separately. But again, they were first of all for warmth. And normally these are worn down the back. They're worn in the front like this on your master's robe. But in fact, if you look at them, they're actually hoods, and you could actually put them on your head like a hood, like a medieval monk. Okay. Now, you'll also notice in the back there's this funny looking little appendage in the back, and this is also from your medieval garb. This was actually used in the Middle Ages to pull your hood on and off. People only had maybe one or two of these in their wardrobe if they were very lucky, and so you had to reduce wear and tear. You had to treat them very carefully. They were very expensive. But once you put this on, if you had that hood, it showed that you had reached that level of master and had been able to teach and to know your subject better than most. And that was a very, very prestigious position, as it is still today. So as you're going forward to your virtual graduation, you may not get to wear all of your robes, but there's a tradition behind them, and hopefully one day soon we'll maybe get together and have some event where you can wear those, and at least hopefully you'll get them and wear them for your family to show that you have reached that level. Once again, my congratulations to you and to you and your family for this achievement. And for those of you who are in my classes, I'll miss having you. But you can always come back and visit us. So once again, thank you.
Our student speaker this year is Dawn Rauwolf, who's graduating with a Master of Arts in Teaching with a major in elementary education. This will be the second time that Dawn has graduated from UAS. She finished her Bachelor of Liberal Arts with a major in General Studies and a minor in Business in 2012. Like a lot of our students, Dawn completed both of her degrees while working and raising a family, finishing a couple of classes per semester when time, budget, and the work and family balance allowed her to fit them in. And also, like many of our students, Dawn has her own unique and compelling story that has brought her to this point in her education. Dawn first arrived in Alaska with nothing more than a backpack and $200, walking the docks looking for work aboard ships. She found that work with fish tenders, which brought her to Ketchikan. But the journey helped her back to finding what she loved and what has stayed with her, working with children and young people in many different contexts. After finishing her Bachelor of Liberal Arts, Dawn entered the Master of Arts in Teaching, which allowed her to complete her teaching credentials and work as a teacher, first at Holy Name School and now at the Tonga School of Arts and Sciences. In fact, she has now either taught or co-taught 3 of my own children, and she's a fantastic teacher. But Dawn has shown particular dedication and steadfastness. Just 2 years ago, she was diagnosed with a serious and relatively advanced cancer. She is now healthy and in remission, has continued teaching, and has shown a lot of resilience in staying on track to finish this master's degree. I introduce Dawn Rauwolf.
Hello to our University of Alaska President, Dr. Johnson, our Chancellor, Dr. Caulfield, our Ketchikan Campus Director, Dr. Schulte, administrators, esteemed faculty and staff, UAS friends and family, and graduates of the class of 2020. This is the day we get to honor our graduates. Greetings, fellow graduates. You did it. You persevered through these difficult days and you reached your goal. You have sacrificed your time. You've worked hard learning and thinking, reading, writing, and typing. You've made it past all of these obstacles to achieve this goal. You found a way to get all of your assignments turned in and all of your discussion board responses done on time. You had to be flexible through power outages, through plans gone awry, and through computer failures or technology difficulties. You studied for hundreds of hours and you had to stay in to get your work done instead of going outside with your friends or flopping on the couch to watch Hulu or Netflix. You have a lot to celebrate. I hope you find a way to celebrate your huge achievement. I know you will find a way. We didn't do this alone. We have been supported by our families, our spouses, our partners. We have been supported by our professors and all of the great people who work here at the university, the office staff, the guidance counselors, the administrators, the student center, the tutors, the tech help, the librarians. Oh, how much we needed your help, and oh, how much you helped us. My first class that I took through the University of Alaska was back in 2006. I finished my bachelor's degree through UAS, and now I'm finishing up my master's degree through UAS. It's been one long road. I knew I wanted to be a teacher, and I had guidance from Gail Klein. Thank you, Gail, for all of your excellent leadership and the way that you were able to give me concrete steps to be able to get this teaching certificate and now my master's degree. So yeah, I'm a teacher now thanks to my teaching certificate and this degree from UAS. It feels pretty awesome to be a teacher. I love going to work every day. I love seeing young people at school every day. My education at this unique university has allowed me to live my best life. I get to work with young people and I get to be their champion. It is the best feeling in the world to be able to go to school and tell students just how wonderful they are. To this graduating class, you get to move forward in your life now that you've accomplished what you've set out to do. I've had a few setbacks along the way, as Dr. Urquhart mentioned. I had to take a break from taking classes when I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer back in the summer of 2018. I am here today because my husband and my friends made me go to the doctor. I didn't realize that it was going to be a serious issue. I had no pain and I just didn't realize what was going on. I am here today because my doctor saved my life. I am here today because our nurses here at Peace Health took great care of me. I know a lot of folks prayed for me and wished me well. I'm here today because I received so much help from this community. I was scared, I was sad, I was angry. I was angry that cancer was going to take away my future. It was going to take away my career. It was going to take away my earning power and time with my family. I grieved the loss of the long life that I had imagined for myself. I grieved the loss of a happy future. And at that point, all I could do was take one day at a time. I have felt supported by the people of Ketchikan throughout my whole cancer journey. It was awful. I felt awful. I looked awful. I could barely get up some mornings. I could barely get myself to work. Barely manage getting through my day sometimes. But this town gave me strength. I received notes of encouragement, chocolate of encouragement, and dinners of encouragement. I felt very loved and taken care of. When I would fly down to Seattle to receive treatment, the airline attendants here in Ketchikan would greet me and hug me and wish me well. Those small moments just meant the world to me. Many individuals quietly gave me life and they held hope for me when I felt like my life was over and when I couldn't hold hope for myself. This community. Well, I am in remission now. NED, no evidence of disease. I can look a little bit ahead now. I think I'm going to be here for a while longer. So one of my goals was to finish this master's degree. This last class, this portfolio class, this is the third time that I've registered for this class. and this is the 4th semester of trying to complete it. I do understand setbacks, and I do understand hardships. My hardships are not the same as yours, but I do know that you have what it takes to keep on keeping on. We are currently experiencing stay-at-home mandates and social distancing. COVID-19 has changed everything. You have proved to yourself and to all around you that you are resilient because you managed to graduate even in the midst of this pandemic. We know how to be flexible, don't we? And we aren't going to let this virus stop us from acknowledging our achievements. You have overcome myriad obstacles. You have the grit and determination to stride past difficulties. You've set a good example for others who look up to you. You will go far, and you're going to continue creating your own success. I'd like to leave you with a little advice. Be sure to thank the people who are on your team. Write those thank you notes. You'll be glad you did, and the people you write to will appreciate your good manners and your thoughtfulness. Find a way to invest in your community. Figure out which nonprofit or organization is meaningful to you, and then volunteer some of your time and talents. Attend the fundraisers. Donate what you can when you can. Every little bit helps. Every little bit makes a difference. When you go into the grocery store and young people are selling tickets, just buy a ticket. Be ready for it. You see them there. Get ready to buy a ticket. Support our young people and give back when you can. My final piece of advice to you: go jump in the ocean at least once a year. It's a crazy, fun thing to do. It's a little bit scary thinking about that big, cold ocean, but you just gotta face the discomfort. Just go do it. It's exhilarating after you get out. It's free. The cold water makes you feel alive. And then a warm sweatshirt afterwards reminds you that simple pleasures like dry clothes is all you need to be happy. Congratulations to you, the graduating class of 2020. You did it.
The turning of your tassels from right to left signifies the completion of your journey from student to graduate. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the class of 2020.